The fate of Captaino in Genshin Impact gave quite the mixed reaction. Continue watching if you're in for the spoiler. If not, look away. And hello there, how's it there? Ame Gakita there. So for today's random chat, we are going to talk about Captaino in Genshin Impact as well as a few other Genshin character and stuff. But the one thing is, right, normally I don't do this kind of random chat out of nowhere for a character, but it's really kind of like when I've seen quite a lot of people talking about having made reaction. Do I have made reaction on this scenario? I kind of understand like the way miHoYo is going with the story, but then again, there is also part of me that is also quite sad or frustrated about some other stuff about the fate of Captaino. So spoiler for everyone who are in for it, apparently in the story he quote unquote die. Well, technically not really dying, because he actually more so from how I look at it, it seems like he's in an internal sleep. Somehow look like Snow White, I guess. Maybe someone have to give him the keys so that he will wake up from his slumber along the line. Who knows? But then again, it's really kind of like better question, like in the community, the so-called his sacrifice to ensure that the cycle of Pyro Archon have to give up their life to ensure that Nalan stay strong, to ensure the Lord of the Night that protect Nalan to be have the energy to protect the nation along the line. But the thing is, right, it's because that of this all issue that they are able to finally put a stop, and it was all thanks to one man fate. So in case anyone want to know, it's kind of like there is so many things I like about this story, this and the so-called the end to the end along the line. So one thing before we go step into it, in case anyone knew that I talk about sometimes I used to play games like World of Warcraft. Yes, when I saw this specific scene, most players don't even know what is World of Warcraft, but one thing I can show you guys is that the post that Captaino did was the infamous or the famous scene in the game World of Warcraft. And it was really when the Lich finally became one with the hero, where he gave up his life to ensure the frozen and ascend to the frozen throne. So when I saw the scene and the way he holding like Captaino holding on to the sword with it in that position with all the frozen crystal surrounding him, the first thing that came to my mind was World of Warcraft, the frozen throne. It was really kind of a very nice moment to see an old game nostalgic moment to kind of like seeing that scene. So when I saw this, I was very, very happy. Now, another thing I have to talk about before I do continue on, as you guys have to forgive me, is that yes, when I talk about the game itself, I will also be talking about possible future playable character. But then again, do understand that it is still under speculation, because if I talk way too much, miHoYo is watching my video at times, okay, even if they don't sponsor me, even if they don't reach out to me, I can assure you guys that the last time I talked trash about miHoYo games or what's not, or when I say like I dare them to put a blue freaking cat in the game, there's no way you can put a blue talking cat in a game, and somehow look at what that turned out for me. So in apologize to miHoYo, yes, I did spend some money to get some character. It is also at the same time broke me in some way because of some reason. So yes, I did spend money a little bit on this game just to make sure that I get my first million damage in the latest patch. So yeah, what you guys see, well, so yes, indeed I did got my first million damage. I didn't even bother to do so, but yeah, miHoYo, my apology if you guys watching this. But then again, I'm not going to speculate about what happened to Captaino or about will he become playable in future, or is he like getting the Sinora treatment. So the issue on many end is that I'm sure that because of when you look at his story, like in his story, he had indicated that he was seeking death, because he is technically a Khanuya, which is basically one of the cursed people in the game at the moment, where they are cursed to live and wander the world and kind of like unable to die because they got the immortality. But the only issue with the immortality is that they can, even if their spirit is living long, or even if they can't die, the issue is that their body will still rot, their body organs, everything will still like fail, but they still can't die. It's just kind of a very cruel fate for them. So for like Captaino, one of the oldest people in the game at the moment, it's kind of like, in a way, you can't blame him for having to live such a cruel fate. So when you kind of look at him, as well as that in the story, it also have been stated that he had not fall asleep for 500 years, because inside him contained many, to the point I had no idea how much amount of soul from people who can't enter the Lin light. And they say that it's kind of like, you know, like when you die, your soul go to either heaven or to earth, depending on to the hell, sorry, to in a way. But if you can't go to either, you stand in the middle of nowhere, and you kind of like just wander for the rest of his life, or their life, or her life, or damn life. So when that actually happened, what did Captaino do? Normally he will use this, his like he got some sort of like mechanical heart, apparently, that he can use that heart to convert those soul, those energy, or whatever you want to call it, into his knowledge. He can use it to strengthen himself. But in a way, he is too righteous, he is too standing for the right justice, that he actually, instead of converting those poor souls into his power, he used those souls and stored it within him, within the heart, which means that for 500 years he had been wandering the earth, in the Tefar, he had never fall asleep once. And for that, you have to understand that he was trying to bring the soul to the land that they can find peace, which in a way I think is really kind of like, you know, like when the people say like there is a Green Reaper taking the soul and lead them to the right to hell, or either to somewhere else. Yeah, you kind of like can think of him in that way. It is a very noble cause that he did. The only issue on the other hand that we have to look at the end of the day is that, did he find peace? Well, the issue on that is kind of like what spread the community in half, because in a way he is using immortality to fight death. And in a way, when you kind of like consider a lot of scenario, when he finally do find peace, it's kind of like, does that cement the moment where he is unplayable? He's an NPC now. Well, it's really hard to know, because like many people who are coping or sad, I am also one of those who actually consider, I do wish him to be a playable character, because I did talk about this, like he can be a character that like using HP to increase damage. I mean, there is already character in games like without using HP to increase her power, and considering that if MiHoYo don't want to overpower creep Captaino, even though he's like the #1 vtuber in the game, obviously I can understand like there must be some sort of side effect or downside to the character. At least that's what it seems. But on the other hand, it's really hard to know, considering that even like some of the game character at the moment have hardly, like most of the Nalan character hardly have any downside. It's kind of like depending on how you look at it, but to me it doesn't seem that they have really the downside, but it is fun to use them. Now for Captaino, we won't know whether will he make a return or not, because there is a lot of argument I've seen online, like some people saying like he has his own model, maybe he's getting like the Wanderer treatment where he won't make appearance now, maybe in future. Or there is also some people who say that he finally found peace after 500 years, let him sleep. So to me, I see both sides of the coin. I understand that he deserves his internal rest, don't get me wrong. On the other hand, I also kind of like hope that he can become like a playable character. It doesn't need to mean that he must make a like never reserve, because resignation or whatever, because based on the story, in order for him to find peace and let his soul, all his soul inside him to find peace, he has to merge his existence with the Lord of the Night. And doing so, it kind of like make the Lord of the Night an immortal, because the Lord of the Night really kind of like can die. She is not really all powerful, but if using the Captain or Captaino to like empower herself, I think that's a fair game. At least it means that Nala will be protected for all the way to go, because you can't, like in the game there is a law indicated by I believe it was the Ronova, where she mentioned that you can't kill an immortal. The reason for that is that if there is a way to remove immortal or to kill an immortal, it means that they themselves is also able to die. So if they break that rule, it means that people can break the rule for them, and when that happens, they will die. So they who esteem they kind of like they put themselves as the god in the land of Genshin. So you can't really go and tell, say, hey, you can kill a god along the line. Yeah, when that actually happens, what will happen to them? They will be in deep trouble. So obviously they can't really, like, if you think about it, right, it means that they are trying to say the rule. You can't kill an immortal. It's like immortal is based off the word mortal, but it not a mortal. But it basically means that they are not mortal. And the funny thing is, right, the original meaning for immortal was basically that you can't die, or it mean like people who is unable to live a weird long life, or maybe some people who is just basically not mortal. It was just basically either one of these two. So when immortal basically have the meaning of like unable to die, how do you kill a person who can't die? So basically that's the rule. That is kind of like what the captain was trying to cash in on, trying to ensure that if you can't kill a person who can't die, how do you break the cycle? So obviously by doing the only way was to merge, him with the Lord of the Night, ensuring that the Lord of the Night able to protect Nalan, while at the same time cater to all the people, all the soul within Captaino to find peace. And when that happened, that is actually a good thing in the long run. Now on the other hand, it's really kind of like interesting that people will always talk like, did he get the Sinora treatment? In case anyone that's not aware, Sinora is a character that belonged to Fatuis once, and in a way it's really kind of like a moment where she was one of the most hated character, even though people like her because of that. She seems to be like, maybe she is a lady, maybe she is good looking, maybe her backstory was very, very sad. Yes, her backstory was known as the Crimson Witch, which in a way is really, really sad. That would be a whole new different story if we do have to go into it. But case in short, it's just basically that she loved her lover, and in the moment of insanity, she kind of like burn into a freaking like a fire along the line to try to take out as many monsters as possible. But in that form, she lost her form because she set herself ablaze, like literally, and that's the reason why she's known as the Crimson Witch. And when you kind of see about it, right, her final end in the game was in Inazuma, where a lot of people always go with the idea that a lot of people they hate Inazuma. Maybe the exploration, they hate it, maybe the story to them is too long or too rushed or whatever you want to call it. Or even the case of Sinora. Sinora was killed by one of the Archon, the Raiden Shogun, or Raiden A or Mei, depending on how you want to call her now. The issue on that end is that because she was so-called executed, so when you kind of think about it, right, it means that in the story they kind of like indicate that she is not playable, she won't be alive because there's no way to bring her alive. But we won't know. I mean, like this, Mihoyo sometimes love to bring dead people back again. So the thing is that we won't know whether will Captaino get the Sinara treatment where he is unplayable. We do not know. But the one thing I do know is that considering that he is technically not dead, he is just kind of like merge, alright. He is technically, he is in the line by merging. So in a way, it means that Captaino is still technically alive and not alive. So that is the paradox. He's dead and alive in between. So in a way, is it a good thing or not? Hard to say. It's like if the reaction for Captaino is good, maybe Mihoyo out of nowhere decided to give a new story to make him alive. Who knows? But the one thing I do want people to understand is that we do not go and attack anyone or attack whoever just because like Captaino is there or is set along the line. Don't like judge too fast. Look at Wanderer. When Wanderer first appeared in 1.1, when did he finally become playable? all the way to 3 point something when Sumeru became the thing. So in a way, I wouldn't really like want to judge MiHoYo on Captaino just yet. I mean, like, just have a cup of cappuccino and then think about Captaino. So the thing is, it's really one of the moment that sometimes we do want to know like who is the next Avenger that's gonna come, because Malvika actually mentioned the daughter. There is also very high chance of other people, other Avenger like 2 or 3 at one go, because there is the Pyro Archon. If the first Fatuist couldn't defeat her, then obviously you need more reinforcement. So maybe in future we'll get to see more Avenger making their appearance. But then again, the one thing is that got me off guard, that Genshin have been on kind of like, to me, on fire, is that the appearance of the first Pyro Archon. I know a lot of people always talk about like too many female Archon, because Zhongli and Venti was one of the oldest, with Zhongli being like 5,000-6,000 years old, Venti 2,000 plus years old. So does that mean that all the Archon initially was male? Well, apparently not all, okay? So the thing is, right, when you have like even the first Pyro Archon making an appearance in a child form, yeah, it really kind of like, in one way that I was very, very happy, is that, hey, if MiHoYo is going to make him playable, I'm all for it. The thing is, right, there is like MiHoYo is, for some reason in Genshin, have been putting out a lot of characters that seems playable, but then the game later on became not playable. So again, understand, don't place too much hope into them. I mean, like, if Captaino became playable one day, I'll be happy. But then again, for now, in terms of story lore, I think I'm satisfied with him being like in an eternal sleep. But then again, do understand, he is technically in the game so-called put to sleep by merging with the Lord of the Night. But if he do wake up one day, that would be good as well, because in a way, MiHoYo is kind of like testing the fire. Because if they really want to make him die, he would not be just sitting down there and just be kind of like sleeping along the line. So I think MiHoYo kind of like set it out that he may be only like asleep until when there is way to maybe awake him somehow. Then we'll see what happened next, but we do not know for now. We are not sure for now, so don't jump to conclusion or saying whatsoever. But then again, like, MiHoYo love to put is able to finally have a playable young kid. Like, dude, I always kind of like mentioned that Sota character has been long overdue. We have like Diona, Sayu, Chi, all those chibi lolly character in the game, and yes, there is no Sota in the game, which I kind of like been pushing for who knows how long when though. I mean, like, if anyone want to know, like, is he really Sota? I mean, like, he doesn't seem short. Well, the thing is that when anyone who is shorter than Traveler, it has to be short in my view, right? And hell, even if like using the lines or whatever, like, his height doesn't even doesn't seem way taller. So in a way, I wouldn't say like he's too short as a Shota, but also he won't be too tall to be called a like those kind of like high schooler. So I think he'll be more on the shonen, maybe he can be considered like at most 12 to 15 years old, but that still in a way still considered a little bit shorter based on his height. Because if he became playable, if the first Pyro Archon became playable, number one, we at least got a first Pyro Archon. But then again, in the story we know that the first Pyro Archon only made appearance for one single day. So even if for one single day, it is still, if that his power appearance is able to make a character to be a playable one day, it doesn't mean that he need to be the first Pyro Archon. It can be mean that the body that was processed by the first Archon and then he became a playable small little boy. Who knows? Hard to say, right? But the one thing is that I know for sure is that if he does become playable, at least we don't need to worry about Xiao being the the small little boy. Okay, I mean, like, everyone have been joking with how Xiao, one of the strongest character in the game, always being so-called the little boy. So if there is actual little boy in the game, at least we can have a new character to make fun, right? But then again, at the end of the day, did Captaino get the similar treatment, or did he actually being placed in the Wanderer's route? I think the comment section is for you guys to comment. Do you think that the captain should be playable one day, or should he actually get his internal rest? It's for you guys to talk, because at the end of the day, how I feel is still technically my speculative thought. It's just a random chat. How you feel, how you don't feel, if you do at the end of the day, like my video. Don't forget to press the like button and subscribe for more random chat. But sometimes talk about stuff that is make sense, doesn't make sense, or random at time, including like Genshin out of nowhere. But then again, the one thing I hope that is not random for you guys is have a nice day or night. Bye.